defense is the number one defense in the league, but they haven't faced a good offense yet, and they have an insane amount of injuries, including, it's Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, Samson Ebukam, Azeez Al-Shaair, Jimmy Ward, Emmanuel Mosley. Like, that's almost the whole defense.
I was about to say, you can feel the whole defense with that. With how many players?
The only guys I didn't mention are Talanoa Hufanga, Travarius Ward, Dre Greenlaw, and Fred Warner. 4 guys. So the other 7 are injured. At what point? Is this defense in danger of unraveling due to injuries?
You have to be concerned a little bit for sure. At the very least, a little bit. The injury. Look, it's proven they're doing fine without Azeez. Great, because they're able to bring down Talanoa and he's filling in freaking the guy's Spider-Man the way he can cover his ground. Defensive line depth has looked great, but it's now looking like it's going to start unraveling with Emmanuel Mosley gone. Because I don't think they have a corner out there unless Verrett comes back fully fit and can even come close to what he was in 2020. You're going to have an issue there, whether it's Ambry out there, Diamador. It's going to be an issue because we saw it last year how good the defense was. It was just the secondary was always a liability, whether the player was getting beat or he was committing penalties. And now with Bosa gone, like, you don't really need to understand like how much of a loss he is. But the first game against Atlanta, they should be able to handle it. It's like the future games, like the Kansas City games, the Chargers games are coming, Rams again, where it's like, okay, that defense that punked the Rams, it's going to be a lot of the armor is going to be unsheathed because all your key players are gone. And at some point, the dam's going to break with all these players gone. Yeah,
but it's like they got Atlanta this week, Kansas City next week, and then the Rams after that, and then the bye week?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, so like if they go – if they go 2-1 over the next 3 games,
solid.
That's it's solid. It's acceptable, and it's most likely. So what you really need is, to survive the next 3 games, go 2-1, which I think they can do, and then get a lot of these guys back. Emmanuel Mosley's not coming back. Jimmy Ward is. Nick Bosa is. Javon Kinlaw should. Eric Armstead should. Ebukam should. So it's not. It's not all bad. It's not like we have had. It's like 2020 when it was like season ender.
Yeah.
No, the guys could come back, and the Niners do have some winnable games coming up one way or another. So
I think circling back to our first topic, this is why it's good that the offense is starting to figure out because that Carolina game, that was like the most complimentary football we saw all season. You had both sides, the defense playing dominant as usual, although they let up their most allowed points, 15, boo-hoo. But you had the offense actually like picking up their own weight. And this is what was always my concern is like you can't it was necessary for the defense to be as elite as they've been because the offense is riding their coattails. But this is why you wanted the offense to start to figure it out and soon because the sooner the better, right? I know it's a long season, but at some point, if the injuries kicked in or if the defense couldn't sustain itself for whatever reason, if they had a game where someone actually punched them in the mouth and it was going to be a long haul for them, you want the offense to pick it up. So by then actually picking it up, it's only going to help the defense more, especially if they're able to put up points.
Right, and these next few games where all the backups are going to get opportunities going to help the defense too because it'll make their depth even better. But I am kind of curious to see how certain backups perform. Like Ambry Thomas, is he going to play? Kyle didn't ruin him today, but he was very blunt. Someone said, he played a lot last year, and then now he doesn't. What happened? He was like, well, the other guys passed him up, which to me is a coach saying he didn't. Maybe he thought he had proven something in those few games, and he didn't take the offseason as seriously as his teammates did. And now that's what he said. He pulled a Dante Pettis, right? Is that it was essentially what he said. I don't know if you heard it.
Honestly, I didn't hear it, but I was looking at the transcript. Yeah. However, I remembered going into training camp, there was a conference where someone asked him about Ambry or the corners, whatever, both Diamador and him, and he says like something about maybe it was D'Amico Ryans. Either way, it was something about like his body's more built or he looks better in shape. I just want to see him getting it on the field. That's literally all they said. Like, good, you did the physical part. Now let's see the on-field part and see if it translates. And it seems like they weren't impressed at all. And we saw it on training camp. We saw it in preseason. It looked like he was the same, if not worse. So I'm not sure how much you can really put his faith in him. That's why I'm a little scared. That's where the defense really is going to miss Mosley the most because he was playing at a Pro Bowl level. Both these corners were. I mean, I don't think that's hyperbole to say either.
No, they were both great. Ambry was so bad in training camp that like a good day for him was only getting beat in front, not over the top. He gave up so many long plays over the top. And I remember asking Unlin, the DB coach one day what he thought of Ambry, and he was trying to say something nice. He didn't give up any balls over the top today. I was like, whew. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if you can play that guy, if that's what he's going to be doing. In which case, what they could do is move Lenore out there, or it's going to be interesting to see. And if you got to do this against any team, it's best to do it against the Falcons. But the week after, against the Chiefs, the Niners are in danger. I mean, they could give up. This is a great defense. They could give up a lot of points against the Chiefs because I don't even know who they're starting corner. I mean, you don't have to go after Charvarius Ward if you got Diamador Lenore and Sam Olmec on the field. Why would you ever go after Charvarius Ward?
Mm-hmm. I think that's where it really is going to come really critical in how D'Amico Ryans, and I have no doubt he'll be able to get some semblance of making this defense still bridge the gap as much as possible with Mosley back. But you can only do so much with Ambry out there, and I just wonder who else is going to put up there. I had put the throwing out there like Dante Johnson because he can come up, and he wasn't terrible in coverage last year. But I think it's going to probably
honestly that might be their best call, Dante Johnson.
That's why I thought
because you know what to expect, right?
What to expect. For sure he's not afraid and can play run support on the edge. And that's something
seriously.
That's why I wrote that article last week about why D'Amico Ryans. I was like, that was a hell of a comment from him. It's like, the fact that he's like, yeah, their coverage is superb, but what I love the most is they're manning the edge. They can come up. So to me, it's like he said that to me, that's giving me more freedom as a play caller. I was like, whoa, okay. So pretty much they really want the really perfect corner who's not just covering, but we want the guy to come up because it gives me so much. So because
they do not want to be a finesse team. They want to be a physical team.
Average coverage and can come up. Can Ambry do either of them at an average level? I don't know. No. You're probably better off putting Womack and Lenore and figuring out between who's going to be inside out.
Just as long as it's not Josh Norman, I'm cool. Sorry, Josh. Nothing
personal.
What
is he even doing?
It's over.
Now? I think he's on a good.
I think he's done. How come Josh Norman? Remember, so Richard Sherman gets to be an analyst. Can you imagine if Josh Norman was a football analyst? After everything, could be like, what? He used to say some stuff that sounded deep, but if you really thought about it, it was like, I have no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah, it all went to hell when
it all went over my head. Zachary says Jennings was supposed to be a run blocking wide receiver. He is a good run blocking wide receiver, but he actually is. I mean, he was their second. Him and Juszczyk was the second half offense last week. I think that the touchdown drives happened because Jennings extended him. Mm-hmm. So he's really important. Good player. I didn't see it when he's like ran a 4.7. I was like, what is going on?
I mean, he's a 7th round pick. I mean, who the hell is going to have like expectations as a guy? If any, the fact that he's gone this far, he's already a huge win for the 49ers. What he's done already.
True. But usually when you take a guy that late, you're like betting on traits, and the Niners are definitely not. They're looking for physicality and violence and all that, and they spotted it with this guy. I'd almost compare him to Anquan Bolden, but they're different because Bolden didn't have any finesse to his game. He would just like body people up, box them out, and run them over. This guy's a good route runner.
Yeah, he's actually. Remember, Charvarius Ward in OTAs, he's like, the one who surprised me the most was Juwan Jennings. So I was like, okay, Charvarius, you're a good corner. You know what you're talking about. Let me actually see. And he was right. He was right.
He was absolutely right. Kyle Green says, always love your show. Thank you. Random question. Do you know what color our fans are going to invade ATL with? I don't know if I should go red jersey or white. Dude, go red. Just because.
No, go white. Go white. You're going to blend in too much like I'm going to be there, obviously. Grant, I'm not with Grant up there, but me and my cousins and uncle are going to be there. I would say go white. Go throwback white because that's the cleanest one. Don't go red because it looks too much like Atlanta home jersey.
Okay, so there's so many Niner fans and there are no Panther fans. And like seriously no Panther fans showing their face. So after the game, I was at the stadium for a while and then I wanted to go get a drink at a bar while I put up my videos instead of going back to the hotel right away. So I found like the one bar that was open in Charlotte. Charlotte goes to sleep early on a Sunday. Jesus. And it was a dive bar and a bunch of Niner fans were like coming in after me. So I sat down. They came in and like Niner fans that have been drinking at games, been drinking for like 12 hours. So a lot of them like can't really talk straight and they're like, Niner. And the guy, the bartender's so funny. He goes, oh no. I was like, sorry, but oh no. I was like, yep, that's right. Niners drink free. I was like, hey buddy, have a good time. Anyway.
God, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be my cousins and uncle after the game. I'm like, get off me! I'm trying to do work.
Oh no! King Leonard says Casey scoring more than 24 next week. I don't know. We got to see who's healthy, right? Let's see who's healthy. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. I feel like the Niners were in a great spot to shut Casey out, not out, but down. If they had Jimmy Ward and Mosley, because Jimmy Ward can do a good job against Kelsey. Like, I feel like no one can do a better job against Kelsey than Ward. So at least they could match up. Now they can't match up like that. So I don't know. See what they got. Although he could play with a cast on his hand. They haven't ruled that out.
Probably a little early.
Callie Tremor says Shanahan and Ryans need to put both sides of the ball in heavy rotation with the players that are just coming off injuries. Appreciate your dedication to your craft. You and your guests are very straightforward. Thank you. Yeah, when you bring in these guys back, they're not in football shape. Try to ease them in. I don't understand.
Yeah, don't throw them in the deep side of the pool. Put them in like the 4-foot end where they can stand up and like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit more. Then after a game or two, then you chuck them in the deep end and be like, all right, man, sink or swim. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Here's a floaty.
And now you're in football shape. Yeah, I mean, that's what they did with Kittle, right? So he missed the first 2 games. Then he didn't get a lot of balls in the next 2 games. Then all of a sudden, everyone's mad about it. In week 3, he's like all up and down the script. So makes sense. That was smart.